What's up with everyone? L the Alchemist here with J.S. Garrett and Dr. Mulder. How you both doing this evening?
Doing great, bro.
Can't complain. Just making toys for all the good little girls and boys across the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I mean, if everyone hasn't yet, you got to go to jsgarrett.net and check out all the Radionics boxes that are on there. And not only are all the boxes on there that you could possibly want, but the prices of them since your last website have gone down. So anyone who's been kind of on the edge, you should hop right aboard because now's the time.
Yeah, whenever I looked over the things that you saved from the old website in order to build a new one, like I realized like he'd fucked up all the prices on there. Like he had jacked some of them up way higher than we had all agreed that they would be. So the prices have been fixed now. I just think the guy did that to be an asshole. He's planning to fuck me over. He resented the fact that was mine and Doc's deal. He didn't make any money off the Radionics stuff, so he never advertised it. And
Wow.
I jacked him up just so we would stop selling them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty, bad business. But
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. I mean, I'm back in its heyday. I mean, we were doing really fantastic. I have to admit. I mean, it was just a breeze to build machines. A lot of these things were per Charles Cosmano's designs. He gave me the basic layout, and I just kind of souped it up for him, and made it a little bit more presentable and and ergonomic. I mean, these machines are built for magicians. A lot of what you're seeing there on those websites that was made for the wonderful listeners of JS and L. So, I mean, this is some good stuff.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there was every day for 30 days, I was using my Genesis box just first thing in the morning, not for anything in particular, but just for the functionality of my day to go smooth. And it just seemed like, from getting off early, getting extra bonus checks, getting more business, as well as like just meeting new people that's going to help me expand in different areas of my life. Like one person was like really good for learning some fitness things, as well as one person was a really good in for getting sound equipment for the set I had. And it's like after 30 days, I stopped for 2 days. And it's almost like the echo of when the Radionics box is on, that still energy is still out there being pulsated forward, because the next few days, things are just as smooth as they were, prior to using the boxes and all that. And I feel as if, as you're growing, the consciousness of the machine is also growing, and it helps eventually build this like frequency which I put myself in each morning, and envelop myself with it. So then later on, it's like that energy sticks with me and change actually the projection of where I was going and how I was feeling, all X, Y, and Z. So it's just, for me, I'm finding like these machines not only work for when they're turned on, but they just like once what is done, that has changed the universe around you, your reality, and it echoes forth. And so that's just something really badass recently I've noticed.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, these are like little weapons of mass destruction. They really are. I mean, we've proven that. Okay, Uncle Chuck proved that. He's been proving that for decades. Yeah, we were like, fuck it, we're gonna see if we can blow up a volcano.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I want to go after somebody, I'm not gonna put a picture of them on the box. I'm just gonna put an aerial picture of their whole fucking town on that box with an F5 tornado and see if I can drive it right through the middle of it. Like you can do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that even raining today, I was supposed to go meet up with some people to go on a run, and it said it was going to be raining. Like last night at midnight, I checked, and it said 90% for the whole entire day, all day. And I was going to go meet up at 1 o'clock. So I set a machine before I went to bed and woke up this morning and looked, and it said a 50% chance of raining at 11 o'clock, and the rest is clear skies. And that's 1 day in advance. And that was 3 days out when I kept seeing it was supposed to rain. And that's 6 out of 7 times I've been able to change the weather just by tuning in with that box. And the only reason it's not 7 out of 7 is I used a 2.0, and it was like 4 hours before rain was supposed to hit. And I definitely understand, like, especially, you know, whatever the operation is, time does factor into it. You know, it's not tune it, freaking portal opens, it lands on it. It's just like magic. It works exactly like magic.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll tell you the coolest thing experiment that I've done for myself with radionics. So I used to, you know, when I got my first box, you know, years ago, you know, I'd put like a picture of a tiger or an MMA fight or something like that on there with a picture of myself and, you know, juice myself up with that energy. And I'm just like, there's got to be a way to like do this better, amplify it. So like I thought about it. I'm just like, well, I've got a large sigil of Belial tattooed on my back. And so what I did was I had someone take a Polaroid of my back of that sigil, like up close, you know, just a Polaroid of the sigil. And I put that Polaroid on the machine, and I printed out a picture of an MMA fight. I think it was Nate Diaz. He was like world time. Printed him out. Like, I should have said he's gonna come kick my ass now, you know. But hey, you know, it's the truth. So anyway, he has really good energy, by the way. I wrote his name and birthday on the back. I put it on there, and I tuned the dials. And I sit there and I stared at the Polaroid of the sigil on my back and charged the sigil. And my intention was to feed the energy into myself through Belial's sigil, so that it would like saturate me with not only the energy of the target, but the energy of Belial as well. And that like took it up like 10 notches. Like seriously, like 10 fucking notches. Like everything went through the roof. My energy, my libido, endurance, stamina. Absolutely could not sleep with that on. Like I can't sleep with a Polaroid of myself on a vampire box. Like this was like a serious machine, like a heavy duty one, and feeding it through the sigil, like just, I mean, it made it so much more intensified. So I'm just like, all right, next time I try to like heal a sick person or something, this is what I'm going to do. And so like if like say you got something wrong with your liver or your heart or something, what I'll do is I've done experiments on people in person, you know, where I'll have them lay down, I'll draw the sigil of like say Raphael or Marbas over their afflicted area. So if they got a problem with their heart, I'm going to draw it over their heart. And I'll use like a red eyeliner pencil or something, and I'll charge and open the sigil, then I'll take a Polaroid of it, put it on the machine with an energy source to feed it, you know, like a Polaroid of a tiger or a really healthy professional athlete. And so I'm feeding energy through that sigil into the specific spot, you know, that their body is fucked up. And like that is like an excellent way to get rid of, you know, cancer or you know, chronic pain, you know, any type of physical issue that I've done that experiment with. It has improved it dramatically, if not fixed it altogether.
Did you when you do that, do you ever use like a pendulum, or do you just kind of put it on there for X amount of time, like whatever they feel as if, or do you just kind of do it and then just let it do what it does?
Yeah, I typically run the operation until I'm satisfied that it's done. It doesn't normally take very long. You know, there's been other operations I've done. If we're trying to blow something up, it's going to take a couple of weeks usually. But yeah, stuff like healing people, different shit. It's always been relatively fast, the results. So
yeah, I have a sometimes inside of this Vamp Mastered machine, I have a Lugala Beta Burr sigil, and I put my blood on that, and I'll put that in there. And having your blood on the sigil of an entity and having that channeled to you versus just my name in the box, just written down, dude, from the blood to that spirit, like it is a whole nother layer that gets added upon. And like about after 9 hours of that, I still have like this like pulsating energy, and it's almost like I'm getting kind of lightheaded. And I think it's because, I mean, that spirit's being literally amplified inside of myself. And I think that, I mean, if I wanted to get myself possessed in an easier state of mind and being, I think that would be the freaking way to do it, you know, especially if you're going to go into like a big ritual with a certain spirit, just pumping that inside of yourself and then going out to perform the ritual. I mean, dude, like that's like, That's the espresso of everything, you know. That's the amplifier. Hey, and Dr. Mulder, I was looking at the Tepophones, and I really don't know how or how you plug that into the machine, and kind of is it just for the input or the output, and just like kind of what's a little general thing that the Tepophone does for the machine.
Okay, it basically is supposed to use light as a carrier wave. That's the way Chuck explained it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it's hooked up is there's only one jack that's on the Tepophone itself, so you can't mess it up. You just plug in one jack on the Tepophone, and you plug in the other one on the output of a machine. You tune the machine for whatever it is that you're trying to send energy to, and you take a picture of the target only, and you put that on top of the Tepophone, as the light shines onto the target,
Mm-hmm.
and that's acting as like I said, as a carrier wave. It's just basically doing the same thing that the output plate does for a standard machine, but you're using light instead. And Chuck has told me that for a lot of different operations, those things are very effective. I mean, there's other ways, other things you can do, but the Tepophone is sort of old school magic. I think I mentioned earlier that it kind of got its start back in the old days where they take a kerosene lantern and they would get put an optics in front of, like a lens or whatever, and use the kerosene lamp as a projector, a slide projector.
Yeah.
And they would have like a glass transparency where they would paint a sigil on there, and then they'd have a picture of the target on a wall, and they put the slide with the sigil in front of that light, and that light would beam right onto the target that they have marked on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically how it worked. And from what I was told by Chuck, this was a highly effective thing that magicians were doing back, I'd say, like around 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so this is a modern version of what the old timers were doing, the old school guys were doing. And it's just a way of, and again, I think it's probably more effective for magic, using light. It's kind of like a candle. I know you've probably seen people that use candle magic, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are they doing? They light a candle. What is the reason you got a candle? You charge it up with a certain energy, or you wanted that candle to perform or be the tool in a certain spell. What is the energy of a candle? What is that candle physically or magically supposed to be doing to a magician or to a witch or whatever?
It's like a gateway. I see it as a gateway.
Fire.
Okay. Fire.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, flame is like the ultimate gateway for evocation and things like that. And, like candle magic is like typically if I'm going to use candle magic, it's for manifestations. I'll focus on the flame and, I'm feeding my desire. That flame is my gateway to the holographic projector that is projecting our reality. I'm trying to insert my code into that holographic projector so that it manifests. And flame gateway that spirits come through as well. And it's also carrier wave, like you were describing. So I mean, it's multi-purpose.
Yeah. Well, what is a flame? What is the fire? It gives off heat. The other thing is light. Okay. So in a weird kind of way, this may be I hate to put it this way, but it appears to me that is sort of like candle magic, but using just electrically, like an LED, or using a light bulb as that, as the means of projecting that intent into the ether, into the universe. I mean, that's just my viewpoint of the thing. I may be wrong, but that's what it appears to be to me.
No, that's honestly, that sounds super interesting, and I'm definitely going to have to get myself one. I mean, everything I've gotten so far has worked extraordinary, and like any amplifier I could possibly add to the Genesis 2.0. I mean, that's actually something too I have to put up online, the 2.0, because we had the first Genesis up, but we still have the second one. I definitely need to add up for that. Did you ever end up getting yours, JS? Another one, or
probably not? I don't think I built yours yet, JS.
No, my former roommate and business partner stole my brand new Genesis 2.0 when he left.
Oh, bless his heart.
God.
Good
God dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How well? I'm sure it's not going to work as nearly as effectively for him as it did, as it would have for you.
Oh, I don't think anything's going to work for him ever again.
No.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Any magical system, if you betray your mentor and turn against them for no reason, like the system turns against you. And the spirits that they helped you make allies with turn against you because you're betraying them as well. So yeah, I've taken on two different people over the years and trained them, like completely trained them in ritual magic, my brand of ritual magic. Both those people ended up betraying me, and both those people, magic doesn't work for them anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say, I think those machines got low jack, but that's just.
Well,
anyway,
they all have their personalities in the machine, and that machine now says, "What a dick! Why did you steal me?" It's kind of like that story where one of your old friends, Dr. Mulder, stole not from you, but stole from them a war machine, and then that person ended up passing away after they stole that machine from that person. I just remember from one of your podcasts, but I mean that just right there makes me feel like these machines also have a life and a thought form, their self. But
yeah, that was outside of this country. Okay, let's make that clear. When this event happened, that was outside of this country, so there's no jurisdiction here.
It was
in any way, shape, or form.
It was definitely overseas. It was definitely
it was overseas.
It was overseas.
Yeah. There was at least a 7-hour time difference between the East Coast and this place. So I'm just saying it was nowhere near anywhere, a territory or an actual state of the United States of America. Okay, let's make that clear. But that happened. And I know of another guy that used the very same type of machine on a dictator, and his life didn't turn out too well either. And I think they first started seeing symptoms of this person getting ready to leave the Earth plane within 3 months after the operation. And this guy was a billionaire, and heck, he could get a hold of any doctor in the world he wanted. I mean, the guy could buy anything or anybody, for any kind of medical care. And so, but apparently that did not help him, and he just started going downhill. And this guy was pretty bad. He was a very nasty person. He wasn't really a great leader to his people. So I'll leave it at that. But I do know that was used on this gentleman, and it worked pretty fast. I was really impressed how fast it worked.
I mean, with or without any entity, from all I've seen with the War Machine, I would not want one of those aimed at me without having a hunter killer. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter their money, because that's definitely something I've checked out. Like, from this rich asshole to this piece of shit peasant. It doesn't matter. It's gonna treats everyone the exact same. It fucks them up,
It's an equal opportunity employer. No, the thing about it is, which is something that kind of concerns me, because the demographic that you guys represent, I mean, these people, I don't ever want to piss anybody off. Okay, number one, I don't, when it comes to magicians or associates of magicians, it's good just to be an honest, straightforward, good person. And I've noticed that if you do that, they treat, if you treat them treat a magician with respect, he will treat you with respect.
Oh, for sure. I think that people, when it even comes to kind of what you're saying, magic doesn't work for people who are not aligned with it, they'd have a selfish or whatever bullshit into just using spirits, essentially. I think that always bites you in the ass, you know, like, and I think that that's what shines from the authentic people to the people who just like are more new agey, you know, they're kind of, oh yeah, here we go, I got a crystal, you know, like crystals and stuff do definitely do something, but like having a crystal doesn't make you a magical individual, you know, and so when it comes to people throwing shit and all that, I mean, I'm not trying to say throw shit because I'm not trying to deal with it, you know, and not at all, but there is definitely, I feel the spirits are like, you know, I'm working with that person. I'm going to definitely defend them. You're kind of doing some bullshit right now, you know, and then plus, like, your intuition, you can kind of get that idea if someone's flinging something. But, I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to deal with any bullshit, but that's why I got a hunter killer, because as soon as I had all those turned on, you actually feel, it's not like a hardcore feeling, but it's very subtle with, like, at least for me, it was like on my subtle bodies, I was like, I feel like I have another layer over me, you know? Like, obviously, there's different protections and other things I'm still going to keep doing. And maybe once a month, you know, do a ribbon cut, and if I feel it, but shit, that thing's got a layer of protection to it that really, once you're getting involved with this and speaking out at to people, you know, if you're not on top of your game, protection or whatever the case, like, there's freaking curses all over the line, you know, all the line and shit. Like, all you gotta do is look it up, and you can send shit people's way. So it's definitely good to be an authentic person to yourself and the spirits you work with, and so, you know, you don't get any backlash, extra bullshit and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if people think, oh, magic in the the Western Hemisphere, oh, that's just a bunch of rigmarole. You know what? Go to Mexico, go to the Caribbean, and see how important regions. You know, go down to South America or Central America, see how important magic is used, or how many shamans are there with these tribes. You know, they've been there for thousands of years. You know, Mayan or Aztec, what have you. You know, and like the descendants of all these shaman, you know, they carry down that knowledge. And I mean, it's amazing. Magic is all over the United States. I mean, look at the American Indians. What were they doing? They had their medicine men. These people were sorcerers. They were witch. They were wizards. Am I right or am I wrong?
Absolutely right.
Yep. We lost you on camera, Doc.
Oh, you hear me? Oh, okay. Let me try.
I hear you. I just don't see you anymore.
I can see him still.
Oh yeah, I have. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna disconnect my audio, or excuse my video, and then I'm gonna reconnect. See what happens.
That's all right. We do tech support. We run it out here. Okay.
Hey, okay. I see you again now. See you again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Skype. Skype can be funky. Yeah. You're really good at that tech support there, young man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, you know, everything was all good, but you know, everyone, we will be going live and taking questions. So definitely, if you have questions, use the contact form on the website, jsgarrett.net. We'd love to answer those, as well as it would be great to have everyone on and just kind of conversate. And, you know, any radionics questions you all have, start building those up. You know, because we will be. Oh, I was just going to say, we will be going live next time when I get headphones that work. So, you know.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. That's like
doing
the
live
days.
stream. You know, if you fuck up, you can't hide it. You know.
No, not at all.
That's the truth. That's the freaking truth, man. And you definitely have to have your dots all up there. You know, they're asking questions on the spot. I mean, I think that's a fun part of it all. You know, but it's just a tech support part. You know, making sure everyone can hear you and see you. But I see us all now, so we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. But you know, speaking about the ancient, you know, and like from Mexico, Aztec, or you know, Egyptians, the pyramids, and people always, when I bring up, you know, the pyramids, they say that's where the pharaohs and stuff were buried and all that type of shit. But there's the Kings, the Valley of Kings is where all the pharaohs and stuff were buried and killed. So it brings up the question, why were these pyramids created? And so it's got me doing some research on Pyre, and this right here is a box I have right now, and you put your intent in there, and there's copper wire that goes around. And essentially what this box does is what the pyramids were created to do, which is take the energy that comes shot within the pyramid, and it goes through all these chambers, because inside of the pyramid they have like these great chambers, lower chambers, and these weird acute angles to beam this energy through to get to the great chamber. So this energy called Pyre energy, it creates this green energy of healing, as well as this like dark green energy that's for like mummification and helping preserve body and all that. And so what I've been doing with this technology, because I think if it does what it's supposed to do, it's going to help not only with the wellness, we're going to use that word, but everyone knows what we're talking about, to enhance that, to kind of be like if I was to put some of my DNA in there, kind of like a box in the sense where you attune it to become cleansed and clear. It would do the exact same thing, only with these boxes, and it takes in just by the formulation of where the copper is and the black and white like layering on how it's coated on there helps create that, and it would help enhance, whether a ring, like I put sigils in there for 24 hours, and then I could feel the enhancement of it. And I'm now trying vitamins and doing other workings, but it's just been really fascinating to me, because when you just look at the ancient past and all the information that they know and their descendants they passed on, from different sacred shamanism and such, as well as just like the soul of the spirit after departure, and how much that they're more attuned with that. And kind of how it's just like we kind of get little speckles of gold dust by the time we get to it. It's more new agey, and you just get a little bit of the nuggets. But it's just been a really badass way of magic. And if it goes what it's supposed to do, I think it could be another revolutionary box. What a and you could even add like radionics with it. I mean, right now it's still in testing phases, and I'm still trying to figure out all the things to it, and then how to even back design it. But just that energy in and of itself. And so I guess I kind of bringing up a question too. Do you think that you would need a box like this, or could you just get a picture of a pyramid and hypothetically have that energy that's going into it, the sun that's hitting it, then sent into an entity or yourself? Yeah, either one of you, if you have any thoughts about that.
I did that with the pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I printed out a picture of it and put it on a box with myself, and I really couldn't handle it.
Really?
Let it run for about 2 hours. It was just like, man, I'm taking this off. It was just, I don't know. It was strange. It was very strange, but it definitely did something. I don't know what it did, but it was like, I don't know. It was like it was overload, I guess.
Damn.
So you can take like I'll take like a $1 bill and fold it, to where it's got the pyramid and the all-seeing eye. Put that on a box, like a vampire box or something, with a picture of myself. That gives you a shit ton of energy. I mean, people worship money. Like, you're talking about the most powerful visual image, the most powerful sigil, whatever. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's it's a way to help you manifest more money, for one, by putting that on the box with yourself. But it's also a way to take energy into yourself, and that's like a caffeine overdose. But the actual picture of the pyramid, I'd like to get a Polaroid of the Great and try that. But the one that I printed out, it was just like, I don't know, I couldn't. It was just, I don't know, it's too much. I couldn't sit still. It was too much to handle.
Wow. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna do that. I mean, I freaking any way to get more energy. I mean, anyway, caffeine, not not cocaine, but caffeine, radionics machines, all that shit. But that's crazy. So even just the vampire box, having that channel into you, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I got my Knox to try it too. Like he put a drop of his blood on a vampire box and then put a $1 bill in there. Folded up with the all-seeing eye on the copper plate. And he said the same thing I said. It was like a caffeine overdose.
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah. Well, like there's a pattern that I use inside the machines. I call it an amplifying pattern. Okay, you'll see it in every machine I build has it. Most every machine has it. And I'll see if I can bring this up to you. Get this up the camera. Okay, you see that little square right there?
Yeah.
That's a two-dimensional pyramid.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's a two-dimensional pyramid. Okay, and so basically every machine and this thing, when you connect it to the circuit, I don't know why, just the pattern itself actually works in amplifying the output signal of the machine. And I asked Chuck about this, and Chuck said, "I don't know," and that was originally his idea. Was using this in conjunction with the machine, and then he said, "I don't know, I just know it works," and it does. That's more effective than using the old days. I used to use telescopic antennas. I think I got a machine here to show you what an old. Okay, here we go. It's an older machine. It's got an antenna right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I replaced, instead of using an antenna, I use one of these, and it's more effective. It's more powerful than using an antenna.
Wow.
No joke. Oh yeah. We don't know why. And it works. It really works. And that's, like I said, that is one of the designs that's incorporated with each and almost every machine. I think, again, there's some variances. It depends on the machine. That's whether or not I use this thing. But yes, a two-dimensional pyramid.
Dude, I mean, that looks almost identical with this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look at that, dude. That looks pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be something to do with that. I mean, when it comes to the spiral, I know when you make that going this way, you're bringing something towards you, and you're doing that way, it brings it outward. And just black and white means Masonic. So I'm not too sure what this box shape does, but I can guess it amplifies for sure.
Right.
Damn. Yeah, it's just been really fascinating to me. But reading about this type of energy, there is something I was talking about with the pharaohs, how like if it was a unfit pharaoh that was supposed to go inside of the tomb and he'd go in there, he would eventually just leave because he wouldn't be able to, he didn't like it. It didn't feel correct. And so, I'm just wondering, fuck, can it be recreated and repurposed to just align things with life? I don't know. It's just something new right now going on, but I'll definitely keep you both in tune with my process of that. And there was another experiment I wanted to touch on was this household that has had poltergeist activity in. Because we were talking earlier, Doc, when there was the bishop that was, I didn't know if he ever got to try that method or not on a house.
I don't know. I've been using a machine to perform sort of an exorcism. No, I haven't heard back from Bishop James Long. He's been so busy with his parish and all of this stuff over in Kentucky. But that's one thing I wanted to discuss with him, because I made a machine for him to use specifically for getting rid of any kind of spiritual problems. I'm just using air quotes, issues. And one thing you guys really, I think, and even he confirmed it, you have to, if you're going to kick out a demon or whatever the thing may be, it has to have a place to go. It has to go somewhere. You have to give it a destination. If it's not going to be there, put it somewhere else. Like I did that with the experiment. I think I told you, a place out of upstate Michigan, and then I had some issues with whatever the heck it was that was up there in Michigan, and so I just sent it down to a district attorney in Florida, And so, and then my problems were solved. I don't know about his, but my problems were solved. But no, is that not true? If you're trying to evict, and again, you're trying to get rid of some kind of a spiritual entity out of a home or a location, you have to give it a place to go. Is that correct?
I typically don't, unless there's
somewhere, but I mean, you don't necessarily get to dictate where it goes. You can try.
Yeah, I mean, I've like with this house, I just said like to get out of the house and just be gone from that property, and I had them write their signature and then where their address was, and they feel lighter energy throughout their house. Now, who's to say if I turn off the box, does that shield down, can thing come back in unless something is being, like stated, you need to be cast and go here. But I do think that's case by case. I think some spirits probably don't give a shit. Some probably are a little bit shittier. It's better to make a friend and make a deal with them. Like you can go leave here and go there. I just don't think that's it's not a prerequisite, but I bet that does, help them out. You know what I mean?
Does it put you in a better bargaining position by doing that, by giving them another option that may be better than the one they have now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if they don't have anywhere else to go, and if they're going to be pulled back to some bullshit, but I mean, yeah, I couldn't see why that would cause any problem. Like they'd be more happy with that than just get the hell out of here. Because I had that happen. I got something off of me, and now I'm talking to someone that's saying the exact same. They'd have no idea about the thing I was experiencing with this undead girl, and they live about maybe like half a mile away, and they're having the exact same experience going on, telling me about this girl, and I got rid of that while I was outside, like on a country road. So it could be a wandering spirit, and it found someone else to go to, but
I was just curious. I mean, it worked for me. That's the only reason why I even brought it up.
I like it. I like what you did. I think that's the smart way. Like having something else for a spirit to do, especially if there's some bullshit pedophile that it just you might as well give, if you want to go fuck something, go fuck with this ghost, this entity, and send it that way. I think that's way smoother. I just don't think that you have to do that. But like giving someone money saying you're leaving a house versus just kicking them out, that's always goes better.
Exactly.
It all depends on the entity and the situation and what you're dealing with. Like I've tried that with people that were being tormented. It's like, all right, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna make a deal. Like we're gonna offer you a new victim here. We're gonna try to do to this person over here that deserves to be tormented, and you're gonna leave this guy alone. I've had that work, and I've had it not work. I've had them say, okay. I mean, just they go on, and then it's been like, nope, I ain't getting rid of me. So at that point, like I'm usually done being nice if I can't negotiate. I don't like making enemies with spirits. Period. There are types of I mean, they're not demons, they're parasites. If I'm dealing with a demon, I'd much rather be dealing with a real freaking demon than one of these, super parasites or whatever. Because you can't really make friends with those. If it's a demon, chances are you can negotiate with it and work something out. But some things are just extremely nasty, and there is no talking with them. And so the best defense against the tank is another tank when it comes to something like that. That's where I just, typically summon the biggest, baddest motherfucker that I can and ask to get rid of the thing for that person and stand guard and protect that person. And that's worked most of the time.
Would you say Azure Ludu's kind of like the trump card, or is it really just case by case?
Well, okay, so typically that works. Doing a protect right with Azure Ludu for someone that usually gets rid of the problem. I've ran into 2 cases so far where that did not get rid of the problem. One was a woman. She was she's been a client for years, but she contacted me. She's like, my ex, said he was going to hire this gin master to kill me or whatever, and something was attacking her, like physically attacking her. And so I tried everything that I typically do, right with Ophal, right with Azraludu, at a distance to rid her of this thing. Nothing worked. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so I summoned Marduk. And that's like the only time I've summoned Marduk from the Simon Necronomicon. Because, it says you're only supposed to summon him if it's life and death and all else fails.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this thing is definitely killing this woman and all else has failed. So I'm going to try this. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to drive to her and do an exorcism in person. Like I'd already been preparing to take the road trip to try to save this person's life. And I decided to try to summon Marduk as a last ditch effort before I did that. And it worked. It 100% worked. So I've got another case that I'm working on now. It's a client. They've got this entity. It doesn't physically attack them. It just talks constantly.
Yeah.
Won't let them sleep. Won't let them do anything. It's just like constantly fucking with them, being a smart ass. He's having a conversation with somebody, and this thing is in his ear, being a smart ass about everything the person says and whatnot. And so, like, the first thing I'm going to do is test somebody for mental illness when they come to me with something like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got to make sure this isn't a mental problem, all right? Because if it is, then they need a doctor, they need medication. But if it is a spiritual problem, then I should be able to help them. I've tried several different things with this guy so far. I've been able to royally piss this thing off, but I haven't been able to get rid of it yet. So I haven't quite got to the point of summoning Marduk again, but we're getting there pretty quick. Right now, I'm trying to energetically deworm him with a radionics machine. I'm just pumping energy into this guy that would be toxic for the parasite that's feeding off of him, and not harm him, like a type of, I won't say chemo, but yeah, we're trying to make him a toxic piece of meat to this thing, and
like a parasitic.
Yeah. Things are parasitic.
Yeah, I got you.
They want to feed off. They want to drain you of your energy. They want to torment you and feed off of that torment. And they eventually want you to, kill yourself or bring about your demise in a slow, horrific way. So you have to be very, very careful dealing with shit like that. They can definitely say, okay, I'll pick on you instead. So you need to be protected when you're fucking with something like that. And, I'll try to be nice at first. I'll try to negotiate, give it a better option, or say, look, we'll do this for you if you let this person go. This person agrees that they'll give you a sacrifice if you leave them the fuck alone. If it's like okay, and it works, then great. We didn't make any enemies there. But if I'm gonna be your enemy, then I'm gonna destroy you. So I mean, that's when it's time to bust out the bulldozer.
And I mean, even when it comes to, I love that idea of pumping them full of energy that the entity can't take. But when it comes to like doing distance exorcisms and like from a property or a person, I mean, that's definitely been something I've been trying to dial in more. There's a couple people I've been helping out with that. Sometimes it's as simple as, if they're Christian and they want to cleanse house, whatever, and they want Christianity, just putting a cross on their household, something simple as that. But yeah, there's been a couple cases where it feels like, it gets that desperate point where like you have to be face to face to get rid of it, because you can definitely feel the difference. Doing an exorcism over someone, you can feel and then have that occur, but doing stuff at a distance, I mean, that's exactly why these tests are being done with these radionics boxes, because if it can pinpoint and do that shit at a distance like that, like, I mean, damn.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is one of my first experiments with working with other people. And, again, my belief system, she was telling me that she had some kind of demonic entity inside this house. They're getting flies in the winter. Their husband got scratched, had 3 scratches on his back, they welted up and all this stuff. She's just telling me about how this place is just gloomy and you got like this bad vibe to the property. And so I projected Christ energy to the property. That's what I did. Simply just tune the machine to project Christ energy to evict whatever it is that's going on at this place. I mean, like I said, I didn't protect myself, but I learned from my mistakes. But to evict whatever that was at this property, and then I would say 48 to 72 hours, I get a response from her telling me, I don't know what's going on here. It's like, the skies have cleared. Everything's just perfect. It's just a great feeling here. And the whole idea of doing all this was to sell the house. And within 2 weeks after that operation, she had a very first offer for that house. It had been on the market for over a half a year. And so, things just changed, with that situation. And so that proved to me, and again, this place I would say is probably 900 miles from my house, from where I did this experiment. This place, the location was at least 900 miles away. So distance is irrelevant when it comes to radionics.
Mm. Do you just kind of like if they're more comfortable with the Christ energy? Do you just do the cross, or is there really just whatever?
I just used a crucifix as an input, just something to represent it. And all I did was just project Christ energy to the place, and I mean it worked. I mean, my problem again, this is a warning for anybody else that does this kind of a thing. Protect yourself, because I didn't protect myself, because whatever that was up there came to me, came after me, and that's when I had to make a deal to get rid of its ass and send it to down to Florida. So that's that was my personal experience in dealing with this stuff. I mean, so it reminded me. And again, I learned from my own mistakes. It is very important if you're going to get involved in this kind of stuff. Protect yourself. You got to. You have no choice. You got to protect yourself. Number one, because if you go down, you're not going to be of any use to anybody else.
No, that's true. Whenever people ask me, like, where should I start out in black magic? I'm like, protection. You want to make yourself bulletproof as possible. There's always ways to get around protection, and there's always cracks for a bullet to squirm through. But you definitely want to be fortified, especially if you start trying to do exorcisms and shit.
Mm-hmm. That's actually why these individuals have a situation going on. They were going around and doing cleansings and all this stuff for these other people, but then their lives, from job, physical, X, Y, and Z, their shit kept declining. Well, once you start adding up, what have you been doing the past year? What's your cleansings? You don't know what cleansing is? Like, burning sage ain't gonna do shit. Like, don't get me wrong, like they can do, that's a little bit, but like no, like when it really gets involved with it, like it is hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, like burning sage, it's an irritant. I look at it kind of like smoking the place out with tear gas.
Yeah.
Please don't like it. Some do like it. Like it just it always depends on what the hell you're dealing with. And if I go into a house, and there's obviously something there, chances are it's going to be like a human spirit or something like that, or one of these parasitic entities that's gotten really powerful by feeding off people over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, like if I can't communicate with it, can't negotiate with it, can't come to an understanding, then I just want to go in guns blazing and wipe it the fuck out. I don't want it to attack into me. I don't want to play nice. That's really all you can do is nut up and go balls to the wall on it, especially when you don't know what you're dealing with. Like it could be a human entity that's stuck there and become vengeful over the years, or you could be walking like a nest of badass demons or jinn or whatever. You don't know what you're going up against until you're up against it. So you definitely want to have as much protection in place as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even going to, graveyards, people think it's like, oh, let's go get trippy and go into a graveyard. And I'm like, I mean, no, like if you're just walking in there and you're just allowing things magnetically to jump onto you, it's even environments. It could be in a city. You could have just some bullshit spirit on someone and someone's, gets really drunk. They have their guard down. Something can jump like that. Like, not only like is protection like really necessary for magicians, but really in everyday life, because even something as simple as like just keeping a salt bath or making sure you're, you do that ribbon technique where you 3 times go through it and make the knot and then burn it, and then building allies with spiritual entities. I mean, I don't care who you are, what pantheon. For God's sakes, just get a fucking friend on the other side and be able to build that so you can understand if you're being attacked, and just be able to have an easier way of living your life. Because I mean, when the shit starts packing up on someone, man, I mean, I really believe that's how cancer gets made, from stress and that buildup of the shit, and over time, like that not only is on another dimension, but that comes into this dimension, and that will fuck you up. And so cancer is just chaos inside, within. And if your life keeps shattering and you keep eating dog shit and you have a low vibration, you're going to be as good as gone. It's probably like that billionaire you're talking about, like it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you aren't taking care of your vessel and whether that's physical, spiritual, you're fucked. Like, really. And I probably cussed too many times for YouTube, but that's all right. It happens.
Yeah, no, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more question, and then we can wrap this up. And I appreciate both your times, and we will definitely be going live, everyone. So like and subscribe. I'll have all the links for everyone's stuff in this video, and they're all going to have this video too. So you'll be able to check out all the channels as well as this store, and be sure to check that out. And the one ride I wanted to ask JS, and for me, when you did the ride deification for me, you've done it for me a couple times, but 4 years ago, the first time you did it for me, the amount, I didn't have anything I needed to be healed necessarily, but what I did need was kind of just a empowerment of my magic, and to basically kick me to the next level. And the ignition that ritual had done for me had made me evolve as a person on multiple different levels. And so besides the wellness that you can get from the rite deification, what are the other versatile things that rite can do for people?
All right. Well, there's a lot of different things that I can custom tailor that for.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about cancer, for one, I had a young woman a few months ago. She had like a massive cancer tumor, and she booked the rite of deification. I never promise anyone that I can like heal them of anything, but more often than not, they see good results in the area of healing after that. So I did the ritual for her. She said it started shrinking literally the day after I did it. And it took about 30 days for that that baseball-sized tumor to completely disappear. Doctors called it rapid remission. So, I mean, things like that, you're giving this person's body a massive amount of energy, and it gives the body the energy it needs to heal and rejuvenate itself. I've been able to I had another man a few months ago as well. He had bad kidneys, and we were able to rejuvenate those kidneys with that ritual. Used it for weight loss. Like, weight loss is a big one, dude. Like, I had a woman hire me. She booked me for a deification. She was like, I really, you didn't have a weight loss spell, so I mean, can we do that? And I'm just like, well, let's try to do it with this. I bet we can. And so whenever I have a person's consciousness present, I'm able to essentially petition them directly. I can say, give them a sacrifice. Say, I want you to use this energy for this. Use this energy to rejuvenate your kidneys, or to help you lose weight. Things like that. And so, I mean, this woman, she called me or messaged me like every month to let me know how much she was losing. And she seriously, I mean, the weight just started falling off of her after that. So it's really a ritual for overall enhancement. And I can direct that energy. A lot of times the energy goes where it needs to go. Like, if I just do a deification rite for somebody, I don't put any stipulation, then the energy tends to go where it needs to go. Mm-hmm. So if they have a health issue, then that generally gets better. It either improves or heals after that. As far as people that practice magic, magicians, it used to be whenever I would do like a major sacrificial rite, like the deification rite, like, it would wipe me out for days. I'd be exhausted. And, when I started doing this professionally, I was like, man, there's no way I can keep up with the amount of rituals that I'm doing. Like, I just,
mm-hmm.
wasting so much energy when you do that. Like you can eat a full meal before you go into the circle, and you come out and you are just starving to death. You know, like it takes a lot out of you. So I noticed after doing that for myself, and others have reported the same thing. You know, after me doing that for them, it gives them like another well of energy to use and pull from when they're performing ritual magic. It's like a reserve tank, you know. So you don't got to exhaust yourself. You've got this gas tank right here that, you know, you obtain that energy through sacrifice, and you know, it's helped people sharpen their skills. Like typically when someone books me for that, they have something specific that they want from it, something specific that they're working on. And others don't. Others are just like, oh, I just want the, you know, whatever it'll do for me. I want it, you know, just overall enhancement. I'm like, all right, cool. And, you know, we'll do that and just see what happens. And they typically see like general enhancement, like physically, mentally, spiritually. Your libido goes through the roof usually. But yeah, the people, the other magicians that I've done it for, they said it makes everything more intensified when they're performing ritual magic. I've done it for artists that said it made their art better. Professional athletes, musicians, like people like that, they'll book me for this ritual, you know, and some of them on like a yearly basis. Some people do it 6 months just to keep them, you know, sharp and gassed up. I try to do it for myself every 3 months, at least every 6 months. But you know, if I've got time, every 3 months, just to keep me young and fit, you know, and to give me the energy that I need to operate at the capacity that I'm operating at constantly. Because you can get what's called ritual fatigue, you know. And if I'm out there, you know, 2 or 3 nights in a row doing, you know, major sacrificial rites for people, I've got to have a way to maintain that level of energy I'm expending on a daily basis. You know, it's not, you use more energy doing that than you do working an 8-hour day, you know, at the sawmill or wherever. It's kind of one of those things that, you know, it's good for a little bit of everything. I've also figured out how to weaponize it, which is really cool. I'm just like, well, okay, you know, if I can do a deification rite for somebody and they feel it the next day, like they wake up the next fucking day, just like pinging off the walls with energy and they're more vibrant and healthy. And it's like, man, if I can reverse that, then I should be able to smash a motherfucker like the next day, you know? And yeah, that works too. I've not really taught that technique. I don't ever want it being used against me, of course, but you know, anything baneful that I'm going to teach somebody, like I put systems in place to prevent it from being used against me. You know, I had a person hire me. The target was a pedophile. You know, it was a guy that was molesting his own daughter, and I did what I called the reverse deification rite, honestly. Summoning, you know, slightly different entities, and instead of giving the guy a sacrifice, I drip doom oil and sprinkled goofer dust all over his picture, added some blood to it to give it a kick, and put it in the fire once I summoned him and constrained him. And then I made like a bouquet of poisonous plants, like poison ivy, mistletoe, hemlock, all the poisonous shit that grows around here. I just went, you know, it was springtime, so I just went and made him a bouquet of poisonous shit and put that there too. And like it hit this dude so fucking hard, so fast. Like I'm not even gonna say where he's at now because he's not with us anymore. But the very next day, he went into a psychosis and ended up being institutionalized. Like a judge sent him to a mental institution. He was diagnosed with extreme paranoia and delusions. And not only that, but he started to stink. Like people said, he smelled like rotten meat. He smelled like death when you get next to him. Like it fucking ruined this guy, and it ruined him quick. So it's something, you know, I should really be careful who I tell that to, but you know, we're all adults here. We're all adults here. And that's why it's important to have lots of protection in place so no one can do something like that to you.
No, for sure. I mean, dude, that right in of itself is the next level. You know, I think that's some ancient history, past knowledge that is now into play now from just like I said, I kicked my shit up to the next level, even physically, but 100% magically. Like that's where it wanted to be funneled into for me, and it was able to just kick that to the next level. And when it comes to like energy, to keep performing right, where I'm at right now, doing deifications and doing all that, like that's almost nearly impossible. So what I've been able to do is just using, these machines, using the vampire boxes to be able to funnel that energy in. I mean, it's not as big of a bang, the atomic bomb, essentially, but it is like, still an explosion. It's still that consistent energy. So, any way to keep the energy flowing. But I mean, like that pyramid thing, I'm definitely going to have to do some research on and put that energy on with a dollar bill. And I mean, I'll see how I act all day. Hopefully I'm not, if I'm institutionalized, I'm going to have to get a right to get on out, but
Well, those two rights you did for me, the Black Web and the Juggernaut, that gave me a shit ton of energy. It was really similar to how I feel after doing the deification rite for myself. Like, it gave me a lot of energy, dude, and it was pretty instant. Like I mean, I could tell the next day. I'm just like, man, I feel really good today. I'm like strong and got lots of energy. I'm like, oh yeah, he did that right for me last night. This got to be what. Then when you did the second one, it was the same type of effect, energetic wise. I mean, they did two different things, but it was a massive energetic transfer. So
that Black Web, what I've been hearing from people is it's a way that it's not only gives you energy, but it makes all your situations in life much smoother. Like there's a clarity you get with your situations in life, and then you can just execute to get shit done, have the energy too. And yeah, that Juggernaut, I mean, when I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, it does have a lot of things like the right deification, but it's definitely more channeled to kicking like your physique. It's very specific and dialed into the physique to help push harder, have more endurance, as well as regenerate quicker, and not only is that energy given to you, but then there's also the ways that like the information comes to you on how to keep having more regenerated energy. Like things in my diet have changed since I've done that right. Like more mushrooms and things along those lines, like reishi and all that, to keep those processes going. So it's like a download of information that your body needs to be able to keep running at the high level it needs to, as well as that physique to just kick some ass. I mean, honestly, if I was into boxing and shit, I'd be doing this Juggernaut ritual every month and then just whoop the shit out of people. But
it's cool that you say that, and I actually didn't know that was a side effect of that ritual. But since you've done it for me, like I've started working out, I've started dieting. I'm like doing the carnivore diet now. I've been doing that for very long because, well, I've been trying to do it for a while, but man, I like really love V8 juice and shit like that. So I'm having to like not eat and drink some of my favorite stuff. But I've been working out every day. I've been feeling good, getting healthier. Stamina's gone up everywhere, and it's good.
Hey man, some people are Juggernaut on the streets, others are good in the sheets. It just depends.
Try to be the best in both worlds.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We are doing the best of both worlds. Well, thank you both so much. Everyone, be sure to check out the new launch, jsgarrett.net, and take a look at the machines, the rights, and if you would like to book a consultation with any of us, we would be more than glad to just help you dissect whatever your situation is, whether it's magical, radionic. We can do everything we can to give you the answers that we can. So, hell yeah. Any final thoughts for either of you?
No, man. I was going to plug the new website, but you got it.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone get plugged in, check it out. And stay tuned for some lives. So get your questions together and hail, everyone.
Hails.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely, same here. I'm definitely going to go live myself on my channel. When we do this, we'll have a simultaneous. So I'll get people on my channel. This is going to be great. All right. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's rock it. See you, everyone.
All right. Good night, guys. We'll see you.